Generally, how do you feel about giving people second chances though? Are you an ex is an ex for a reason? Or are you like
Child,
it's
no,
okay to
this
double
is
back?
me talking about. I always be spinning the block. I've been spinning the block about folks that should never be spunt again for.
Nice. Hello, friends. We're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kandrin.
What up? What up? It's Deja. How y'all doing?
Welcome back. We've never been here before. We do a mixture of pop culture and real life and how the two collide. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe to our channel in advance. And yeah, stick around. We're gonna talk Harlem today. We watched Harlem. I had thoughts, many, many thoughts. I liked where they went this season. I liked where they went this season. So, do you want to talk through what were your general impressions?
I was bored.
Okay.
I feel like last season was much better, but obviously it was new, and we were also bored as a community in general. Like we were still
True.
in the house, and trying to navigate the world as we knew it, post or well, in pandemic, not even post pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I was just bored. I think it was just so many. I'm just getting very exhausted with constantly trying to keep up with all these things that they are putting into the black shows. It's taking like the fantasy out of the shows. And so like that's how I felt about Sex in the City reboot. It's
Yeah.
giving that type of like energy.
Say more about that. Like what specifically were you kind of overseeing?
Um like it's so many things. Um, I appreciate that they talked about mental health and like that the process of going through that with Quinn, but like that was exhausting to watch. Um, the Megan's character, I forget her name, but she's always exhausting.
Camille, yes, she's exhausting.
Camille's always doing a lot. I really like how they ended things. I hated that. Like between her and Homeboy. I hated it in the sense that people don't come to those conclusions that fast. And it was like a flip of a switch. Like she found out that she had complications and then boom, I don't really want to have kids. And like,
Maybe not, but like I think her point was saying because she had because she was faced with the choice and was kind of like, well, I can't. It wasn't, she didn't have some like horrible response to it. And I think that was kind of the point of her saying, like, okay, well, maybe I just don't want kids. Like, maybe, like, I'm not having a response to it. So,
and I get that, but I feel like it was just so abrupt. And maybe that's also like the character flaw of Camille. Like she
yeah.
constantly flipping switches on a dime and like is on a whole new trajectory. So maybe that's the intentionality behind that. But like it just didn't seem realistic in the sense that
Okay.
because she's saying like I don't really know right now. Like it's still all up in the air. That to me, it's no reason to just end your relationship until you know definitively this is not what I want.
I
You know what I'm
disagree.
saying?
Okay, so maybe we can walk through a little bit slower out. Is there anything else generally other than being bored that you felt in this season? And then we can walk through the characters a little bit more.
I was just overall I was just bored. And
Okay.
like I
So, all
just
right.
wore out with all the shit that was happening. It was just too many things.
Okay.
It was giving Sex in the City.
Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't feel that way. I thought that they handled it really well. Like they gave everybody one particular issue and they kind of stayed with that issue. And I appreciated that.
Mhm.
So, okay, let's start with Camille. Um, we've already kind of gotten there. Basically, for a summary, I guess. She and what's his face, Tyler Lefley's character,
Ian.
Ian, have decided to make it work. In the beginning, she gets bad news about her fertility options and decides like, maybe I don't. And he's talking to his aunt at the end, and we see like he really does want kids like badly, and he doesn't
Yeah.
want to leave it up to chance. So they kind of decide to end their relationship at the end. Generally, how do you feel about giving people second chances though? Are you an X is an X for a reason? Or are you like
Child,
it's
no,
okay to
this
double
is
back?
me talking about. I always be spinning the block. I've been spinning the block about folks that should never be spun again for.
Same. I
I'm
have been guilty.
retiring this behavior, so I hope, but shit, I don't know. I can't even call it.
Yeah, fair, valid. And then I guess the other issue was like her Whoopi Goldberg's character, her boss, like kind of shortchanged her, and I felt like she was owed a read when she showed up there with all of her personal like her research that she had been doing on Seneca Village all along. It was like, bring your research, come bail me out. And then like I felt like Camille owed her a little jab at that point. Like because she was very like the way she dismissed her last season and
Yeah.
was just treated her so poorly. I think we may have had a conversation about that specifically, but she just treated her so poorly. And then this is the person you call to come save your ass. Like she kind of reeled it back in at the end, but it was like I felt like she kind of owed her a little bit of a read. Like, yo,
I don't, so for me, I feel like she gives me that Whoopi's character gives me like the energy of just someone who's staunchly set in their ways, and once they see you a certain way, they're not changing that.
yeah,
And I think from season one to season two, Camille really had to like prove herself, like, period, and she was able to do so. Like, I don't know. I don't know that it was like a read that was due, because that's just who she, like, you just, people are who they are. Like, okay,
yeah.
this is what happened. This is my job. Like, let me come and be a part. Because I want to say that Camille was also on that project, not
Yeah, but she
directly, but she,
no,
because
she
remember,
kicked
she was
her
working
off.
with the,
She picked the other person to be her TA, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought
And
that she was working with that other person. So
no,
like Camille thought that she was leading the thing and leading the charge, and it turned out that she wasn't. She was going to be like equals to the grad student.
okay, maybe I'm
That was
not
what was
clear
happening
on
last season. That's why I was like, yeah, like, and so it was a slap in the face for Camille, because like, what the hell? Like, I'm a professor here. You gonna put me at the same level
right
as a
as a
student?
TA. Yeah, you might be. I think you're right on that. I don't recall the exact details about that, but also like I don't know. She just seems so ungrateful for this person who like even with the brunch thing, like she mentioned her having alcohol on her breath, and it's like, ma'am, I came from
It's a
brunch.
student day.
I dropped everything to come over here because you told me to come over here, and I'm coming over here to bail you out. So like have a little gratitude and don't come in here so hot treating me like shit.
Yeah, yeah. Now that I
That's
get you on, because I'm like,
No,
girl,
like that's the read I felt like she was owed. Like, yo, relax. If she had have said that to me, I would have been like, I came from brunch. Like, I dropped everything. What do you want me to do?
and not only that, it's Sunday. This is not
It
a
was
working
Sunday.
day.
And this was not something that was on my agenda for the day.
No. I'm like, be glad I answered this phone, bitch.
Okay. Because when my job, or thank God my job would never, but like if I had a job that called me on off hours, that's not true. They would. If I had never set that boundary, because I do know people who get phone calls on the weekends. I don't get phone calls on the weekends because I don't answer them.
You can
Uh,
call, but I ain't finna talk to you, honey. I'll see you on
mm-mm.
Monday.
No, whatever it is can wait. And then I guess we already kind of touched on her fertility issues and you feeling like you don't make decisions that fast. I don't know. I just think she's probably, and what it seemed like to me is like she's already in her mid to late 30s, the character that she's playing. So she's kind of like,
So I did some research, because me and a
okay,
friend of mine were watching the show together, and like I was like, this, because we was going back and forth, like, so irritated about the shit that they was doing, and we were like, they gotta be like late 20s, early 30s, because this is all over the place.
well, she said she was in her 30s, I thought.
Yeah, so the when I did the research, it said that the characters are literally the late 20s, early 30s. So like
Okay.
I don't even think they're like at like 35.
Well,
Makes a
that's a
lot of
hard
sense.
sell because they all look 35
And
nowadays.
do, but the character trope is not alleging. It's saying it's not that.
Okay, well, I
So I'm
think
like,
that's
okay.
a missed opportunity because they look and
I'm
they're
like,
all well, I think what Megan Good's in her 40s probably. So like,
girl, yes, Megan Good is 42. She older
okay,
than me.
anyways. Um, but yeah, I
A
don't know.
big girl.
I just thought like it's one of those things. Maybe she was just never passionate about it, and then once she found out that she probably couldn't, she probably just was like, well, I ain't worried about it. Like, so for instance, I'll give you an example. I'll give you myself for an example, right? So
Mhm.
it's like, I've never felt strongly about, having kids. I would say like in the right circumstances, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. I'm not sure. But like, I never cared enough to like think about freezing my eggs, for instance. Like I never cared that much.
Same process.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like people who care, they go the extra mile. People who care, they get upset when they find out that they can't. She had no reaction. And I think it's fair to say, like, if you don't have any reaction about that, then maybe you just don't. And maybe you just don't want them.
So like, okay, so always telling my business. So here we are. I've had this experience. So what 2018 is when I was diagnosed with PCOS. And so that can cause fertility issues. Um, and at the time that I was, that I found out or whatever, like I remember going through like that whole scene as it played out. I was just like, okay, yep, been here, you know what I'm saying? But like the flip that happened so fast, I was like, whoa, that like that. No, this is quick.
Okay. All right. So maybe
Um,
I'm missing
but
something.
for me at the time, like I understand like not really being super bothered because it wasn't like I went home and like had like a whole, dramatic wall slide, like, oh my God, like nothing like that. But it was just kind of like my reaction was literally like I don't want to be have a health condition that causes me not to be able to whatsoever, whether I want to or not.
Right.
And so I didn't really come to like a complete resolve about that until like 3 4 years later, you know what I mean? So like
Okay.
um
But
but
also, like, we see Ty. I mean, we can kind of move on from Camille because they're kind of in the same boat on the opposite ends. We
yeah,
see Ty like make a decision because of her health concerns and like having to potentially, um, having like I don't remember what she has, maybe endometriosis or something that causes her to like bleed
have
really heavy
issues with the
because she
womb,
has
yeah.
to keep getting blood transfusions. So it's like you see her making a decision pretty quickly to be like, um, I never really thought about this, but maybe I would like to have the option at some point. And
That I think I was more like her.
pop culture related, think about the brat. The brat is 48 and says she never thought about having kids.
Yeah. Like
You
no
know?
lies. Like I'm more on the spectrum of Ty as it relates to the having those issues and like me being like like I'm okay. We've talked about this before. Like I'm okay and I feel like my life is full even if I never have a child. That's not on my bingo card right now, but like if my circumstances were different, then I could absolutely see myself wanting to. But the closer we get to the big 4-0, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah. But no,
I
I'm
don't
just
know
saying
that.
I think it can go either way. And I think the decision can be if especially if it's been starring in your mind already, like the decision can be it can seem quick to other people, but it might be, not so fast to you. All right, let's stay on Ty. Her in Mexico was cracking me up because I feel like that's how I am sometimes. Not like I have to be out and about, but it's just like I still feel youngish and like I still feel like I want to be mixy, but also like not that mixy.
Like,
Like
girl, Ty was out there.
she was out
I was
there,
trying
but
to find the cocaine. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not that out there. But yeah, still feeling like you want to be like a little bit on the mixy side, but also being like knowing that you also look like the old person when you're out sometimes. I will say that Miami is good for that because it's like a suspended reality here. Like you could go to the club and it'd be people in their 60s there, like and there used to be a spot that I went to all the time and people would be in their 40s and 50s just out there having a good time listening to music, dancing, whatever. So it was like, and I was in my 20s and early 30s at that time, but yeah, it's just like closing that part or that chapter of your life. It can be difficult, and I think made more difficult by the pandemic. Like I was telling one of my friends because like at the time of the start of the pandemic, I was obviously that type of stuff was waning, but it was like I still felt like I had a couple good years in me, and I lost all my good years, like the last of my good years in the
No
pandemic
lies.
inside in the house, and
No
that
lies.
sucks.
Okay, I'm stuck in this month. Excuse me. Like I feel like we've been in the house so long, I just be in this bitch, and I am like it's no lies. This is where I work,
That's
this is where I live. I'd just be like, and I'll be chilling, like I'm at peace. I
yeah.
feel like I'm starting to get to the place of boredom, but not really.
Yeah. I'd still like to be a bit more mixy, but I'm not mixy in that way. Like I don't have to go to the club or whatever. Like every now and again I still like to have a little twirl, but um yeah, I want to go to happy hour. I want to be out and about sometimes.
Right. Happy hour,
So
yes. All the like, I got to be home by 11 o'clock though. Like,
okay, I'm not that. I'm not quite there yet. But
well,
again, I
because
also live
like
in a city that
exactly.
starts at 12 o'clock.
That's what I was about to say. Like, think about what city I'm in. Like, girl, I won't be out here in the wee hours with the children. Like, I'm
So yeah, she was cracking me up in
okay.
Mexico. What else? Oh, PSA. Divorce people properly. That lady was about to lose all her stuff or half her stuff. So basically, Ty, for those maybe who didn't watch or whatever, Ty was married to somebody back home, never divorced the man, moved on with her life, and he came back and she was rude to him when he came back around
Yeah.
and was
Like
basically like, just
really
give me what
rude.
I want. And he was like, oh, you think that I'm here for money? Cool. I'm going to make this about money. And like went through the whole process of like, going through a divorce proceeding, getting half, got a check for 1 point something million, 1.3 or something. And then he tore it up because I think he really did want to be in relationship with her, but he just went about it the wrong way and she went about it like she offended him right out the gate. So I
Mhm.
think he was just it was like a hurt people. Um
I think she really thought that he knew that she had amassed all this shit. And so like now he's showing up to the, like after she did all this work and struggled and whatever have you, now you coming in at the end to get your bag. And it's like, girl, he couldn't find you all that time you was gone. That's what the story was telling us. But that whole situation irritated the flim flam out of me.
yeah.
Me and my girlfriend, as we were watching it, we were trying to like piece it together and make it make sense. Like apparently she married him like out of high school or something like that,
Mm,
and then ran off to college and met the friend group and then just never fucking came back.
people
But
do that all
like,
the time.
right, I got you. But like we were so confused because we were like, what is this timeline? Like, how is it
Also
that
true.
like how I was just still confused. That we pieced it together for that to be the timeline, but it's never explicitly stated that this is what happened.
Yeah. And that's why I thought that they were supposed to be a little older because that was a whole lot of living to do in a very short space of
Thank
time.
you. Because I'm
In
like, you,
a
so what you
like
got
a
married and
6 year
you were
period
married
or
for a
something.
summer? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all graduated high school, you was married for a summer, and then you left to go off to college? Huh?
Yeah. So it was just that was odd, but yeah, divorce people properly. Like divorce people properly, walk away from situations properly, tie up your loose ends, and do the right thing. Period.
Literally. So you don't fight
Um,
back. People trying to steal your monies.
basically. Anything else about Ty? The end was funny where she was trying to
Oh,
date mom and actually was canoodling with daughter. That was funny.
I can we get this casting together? Because like it's just that was just I'm tired of the in this day and age, I'm tired of like the Huxtable piecing together of families. They just don't look right.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Um, the thing that threw me off was again, like, how old are these characters supposed to be? Because is she fooling around with an 18-year-old? I don't think so. Like, this girl is supposed to be in her 20s, maybe, and mom is supposed to be in her mid 40s. I guess that's doable if she was married young, but like,
Yeah. Like mom is Gen X.
it's just
Apparently they are millennials. But like it's still like the timeline ain't
the
timing
timeline
right. Cause like
isn't.
if y'all are it would make more sense for them to be like 35
Yeah,
to the end of, like maybe
I
39.
thought mid 30s. I'm going with my thought, even if that's not what they intended, because I think that's what it's reading. Um, okay, let's see if we can get the other people. We talked about Quinn a little bit with her depression. I think that was the overriding sort of theme with her storyline. I don't think there's much more to that.
No, but I did like seeing her be on screen with her husband. They're just so cute to me.
Yeah, same.
Her and
They
Trey
were so
Byers.
cute together.
And they're expecting a little
And then
baby.
they are.
So
And
congratulations.
then Angie, yes. And then Angie with all of her all of her living that she was living.
Man. But you know what's funny? Everybody got well, we have an Angie in the friend group. We may not be friends anymore, but we sure enough had one of them. But my thing is like, at what point do you put the pussy on ice? Like, girl, that
Well, it
that was
seemed
a
like
lot
that's
of
what she was doing at the end. Like she met this guy and like, they were kind of moving in that direction. So we'll see what happens with them hopefully next season.
how they finna do it.
Um,
I want to know who's, but you know what? I feel like the person that's pregnant is Camille, the one who's like,
yeah,
oh,
maybe.
I don't want kids. I feel like
We'll
that's
see.
the, because who else would it be?
I mean, she had the face drop. I don't know. I was thinking, I was thinking Ty was gonna have a momentary slip up with that ex when he like tore up her paperwork or her check.
That scene with them going back and forth, that was such bad acting.
Yeah, it was. And
I'm like,
then
I love her character, but that who I mean, it could not, and maybe it wasn't the acting, it was maybe the writing of
the
it,
writing.
and they
Yeah,
just
there were some
couldn't.
moments in the show where I was just kind of like, okay, the writing's not great here. Like we could have done better.
Who's in the writing room?
Yeah. And then what else? I loved just a few things that I really enjoyed. Obviously, always love seeing Black professionals. They all had Black doctors, Black lawyers, Black everybody. Um,
Mhm.
I think one of the
I love the
doctors was
styling this
Asian.
season,
Yeah.
the clothes. I loved every bit of
Yeah.
it.
I saw
Everybody
some
loved
Black
it.
designers, like designer pieces. The Brandon Blackwood trunk was in
Yeah.
there, that last scene. I want the earrings that she had. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna find them. And
Google reverse search
I
or get
know that's
a screenshot of it,
that,
and then you can
yeah,
search them.
that's my plan. And then I wanted to say a word about going back to Quinn a little bit. People love to hide their family history, and it's like, can you please just tell us so we can know?
Girl, Black
Like, if
people.
Dad has been on medication for depression for all this time, like
We need to know this.
the people need to
Like,
know. The people need to
because
know, and Black
Black,
people are good for that.
very much so. And it's like, oh, well, it's my business. No, baby, this is our business. It's like your
Yeah,
genetics is my genetics. Hello, like you have to
exactly,
tell people. Got the children
exactly,
feeling like they crazy.
exactly.
Like, ugh.
And then the last thing I really enjoyed was seeing more Bevy on the screen. I love Bevy.
I like
I'm
that scene though, where she's like giving him because she like, you got to grow up, nephew.
Yeah,
And then she gives him this check and it's like, I'm not don't I'm not asking you to pay me back because if I'm giving it to you, I'm giving it to you, which reminds me of something that you do. So I was just like,
yeah.
come on.
And I just read her book, so it was like good to see her out and about and living out the dream, so to speak.
Trying to get to
Especially
my own version of Revelations. So
yes,
shout out to Camden, she
definitely.
sent me the book.
Definitely. So, anyways, that's all I have on Harlem. I thought it was good. I mean, it was good. I thought it was good for, people who are in transition, mid-30s. I thought it was real to a mid-30s sort of life, I guess, even if they are claiming not to be in their mid-30s. They very much are. So,
Yeah, because I'm like, them decisions about the children and like, it would make more sense to abruptly end it if you were at that point, like 35, 36, and you know that you want kids. Like that, people do the shit like that then, not at like
yeah.
late 20s, early 30s. That don't make no sense.
I'll
But
give
yeah.
yourself some time. So, anyways,
My final takeaway is that the season just be too short. I feel like they need more episodes. Like it needs a little bit more.
yeah, some of the storylines could use a little breathing room. And
Yeah.
with only 8 episodes at 30 minutes each, I think the first episode was maybe an hour. But beyond that, all the episodes are 30 minutes, and some of the storylines could use it feels
They
like they're
need
trying
more
to get through
time.
so much at one time, and each person has like a big storyline. So it's like we're doing a lot in a small space of time. So I agree with you on
Yeah.
that.
So y'all get down in the comments and let us know what you thought of Harlem season 2. And even if you watched the first one, compare them, let us know what you thought. Thank you for watching, of course. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and check us out on blackandcurious.com. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.